So I'll let you have a little shoot through that, and then Warren, if you want to speak to it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll give a quick overview. So initially, what the conference is about is that coming out, what we want to come out with it is a very clear direction, one, with respect to where we're going, but two, an actual business plan of how we're mapping out what we're doing and how we're doing it. And so the first day is talking about how things work, what our target markets are, values and goals, and in the co-op itself. However, it's having the group leverage the information that we've already created to then contribute to that. And the way that they're going to contribute is, 1 second, desktop 1. The way that they're going to contribute is we're going to have everybody editing, and this is the start of it. These are the concepts and ideas, and I know it's really tiny right now, but as we go through, we'll go through one section at a time. But they'll go through the mind map process, and what we'll do is give everybody access. We can have up to 300 people at a time working on this, and 325 actually, and they'll be editing live what we're doing. So we'll be capturing ideas, thoughts, and the focus is not for us to capture who supports every idea. What we want to capture is what is the reaction to every idea, and what other ideas do people have, and what are the suggestions that they would make in the context of each of these items. So I'll just I'll just zoom in a bit. So if you look at it, we're looking at essentially a business plan, and we're developing, ultimately an executive summary will come out of this. A lot of people start with that, but that's going to be the end result after the conference. A full business plan with a proper executive summary. So we're going to look at the business description. We're going to understand, look at the business analysis and do the market research with respect to who are the people that we need, what are the resources, who are the people we work with, why do we work with them. We're going to look at different strategies with respect to what we're doing, and this is also going to drive the need and define the feasibility study for the. In looking at the business analysis, we're going to do a pestle with everybody, looking at the local as well as target market requirements with respect to everything that makes up the pestle: political, economic, social, cultural, technology, legal, and environmental. And we'll take everybody through that. So I'm going through this quickly. What this is then going to push out for us is a design and development plan in terms of how do we operationalize it and create, physically create what we're doing and actually start doing work. The first work being the feasibility study based on the Bergknecht project in South Africa. But we're also going to look at the financial factors with respect to that in terms of what kind of reporting are we going to do. And we'll follow a lot of the ISSP work that's been done in terms of blended reporting and integrated reporting, which we have done here, and I just want to put in the integrated. But what we want to do straight off the bat is have people understanding that what we're doing, one, it's real. We're not talking about theory, and we're interested in people's theories and concepts, but really what we are more interested in is the application of those concepts and theories. So most of the people in the room, a lot of the people in the room have not done work necessarily on the ground, hands-on, get your hands dirty. However, what we want to do is explore the ideas, thoughts, concepts, things that they're thinking about, and how do we take those and then through the feasibility study apply some of those theories to see what the outcome is really on the ground and how that could work or doesn't work. and maybe it just works. There's obviously three answers. Yes, it works. No, it doesn't. And wait, if you modify it, yes, it does work, and this is how you can use it. So we're looking for that, but the whole focus of the conference is not to theorize, but to actually create a working plan and a full business model that we can, in fact, fund and support. The key will be the project that we have running already through Arms Wide Open, which is the Barknek project. That project, for the first phase of it, is fully funded. However, it will be one that we study, and in addition to that, we will look at community development using community-based currencies as leverage to create that development. And the key there being that we want people to look at it from a very practical perspective to say, okay, so how do we create value? More importantly, how do we actually measure that value, and value intrinsic in the acts themselves or the behaviors themselves versus tying that to the current economic model, which is probably the Achilles heel of all of the systems that I've seen out there so far, is that they have a direct connection to the current economic model, and in fact they rely on the current economic model not only to create liquidity, but to in fact operate. And so what we're looking for is to say, if we're truly going to alternative economic models that drive in social benefit, what are those like, and how do we look at those? And so, as we go through, that's not an answer we will develop at the summit, but it's the answer that we're looking for ultimately in the sustainable development model that we're creating. So that's an overview, and what we will do is introduce the audiences. Using that overview, introduce each of the audiences that we look to, and we've defined 5 in total. Although this morning I was playing around with the 6th, and Caroline gave me a smack on the back of the head and put me back into the 5. One of the others, but it's looking at it to say, how do we engage and engage in a meaningful way that creates value for all parties when we're looking at the audiences that we are working with, such as citizen journalists or collaborators or impact investors or the founders or the contributors. And if we're looking at each of those categories, we need to understand that this is a very systemic model, and that there is no closed system within the model. Every system loop within the model has an impact on each of the others. And therefore, how do we understand that, document it, measure it, and then assign value to it in a way that it is reasonable, really, but is supportable and can be seen as value for people coming into the system or people looking in from the outside. And that's going to be the biggest challenge, is because the people outside the system are actually the people within the communities when you first start, because there's a lot of skepticism with respect to what we can achieve and how we can, in fact, help them in the communities.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. The reason why the feasibility is so exciting is because, as a first project, it's because it's specifically about, as Warren was saying, using community currencies as a leverage to increase the ability of the community and the people in the community to be sustained, to increase their livelihoods. And by doing that, we are figuring out how we design the platform itself. Because we need to be able to give the people who don't have access, the people who have the greatest need, other people who are not connected. And so we have to be able to give them the ability to express those needs, and to identify how globally people can contribute and help in the most productive way. So I'm extremely excited about the feasibility study, about what that will bring, because if we can achieve that, if we can give these people a voice, such that we are able to give back to them in a way that enables them to help their community to proliferate, then globally we've got a solution that could really take off. So, yeah, thank you, Warren. I think just in listening to you articulate that, for the participant hangout that we have next week, if you'd like to lead that.
Well, I can leave that, but we can also just take it off here and play it.